Hi guys, and welcome to episode 23 of Game Chat. I'm Chris, and with me today we have Jake.
Hey.
We have Kate.
Hey.
And we have Nathan.
Hey.
And today, the whole episode is going to be about the Marvels Avengers Beta that we've been playing. We played it, well, by the time this comes out, it would have been last weekend. But we've played a decent amount of it. I think Jake's done it all. The rest of us have done most of it, so we got quite a decent view about it. So we're going to kind of start off by just first we'll go through our general thoughts of the game. So, Jake, do you want to go first?
I really enjoyed it, obviously because I sat and played through the whole thing without you guys.
Snakes
I
don't hit.
started playing it and then just couldn't stop, which is usually a sign that something's good.
Yeah. Kate, you want to go next?
I enjoy it for what it is. Like, it's a good time with you guys. I wouldn't say it's anything like amazing, spectacular. It's nothing new, but as a interesting, fun time with your friends, definitely. I enjoyed that aspect of it.
Okay, Nathan.
So for me, I really liked the single player and the multiplayer aspects of it. It felt a little bit Ultimate Alliance to me, which I really like. And I've got to say, it is definitely more fun to play with your friends, but the single player mode I did quite enjoy as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same as Nathan. I was surprised by how fun the single player content was. I didn't from the story they showed us, I kind of expected it. Like when we played at EGX, I kind of expected it just to be like base level. We'll get the story out of the way. It'll be quick, and then it'll just be multiplayer, like for the main part of the game. Which it seems like they've actually put some effort into the story, and it seems very cinematic. And the voice acting was good, and I like the characters and the relationship the characters are building. So I enjoyed that. Multiplayer, I really enjoy because it's just playing with your mates. It's just messing around with your mates, doing cool superhero stuff. You know what I mean? And that's just fun, just in general. It was a bit glitchy, which I expected because it's a beta. Hopefully they can fix that by September when it comes out. But I enjoyed it. I found Iron Man to be quite fun. So that's the only character I really played apart from the story ones. But should we talk about the story? Should we move on to this story kind of like sort of summary, but without too many spoilers, I guess?
Take it away.
So Jake, you want to take that one away?
Okay, so the game opens the same way like all the previous demos and stuff have with the A-Day thing. They're showing off their new helicarrier, the Chimera, and there's like an attack from these mercs who are using all the shield tech. You have to fight against them. You find out that the helicarrier is the real target, and it kind of explodes. And the reactor is they're using Terrigen to power it. So when it explodes, it gets all this Terrigen mist, which turns people into Inhumans. And that's the premise of the game is there's an Inhuman outbreak.
Kamala being one of them.
Yeah. So Kamala, who I'd say is probably the main character of the game, which was a really unexpected choice.
I like that though. I liked it because I feel like we already because everyone's watched that MCU. Now, all the main guys are kind of everyone knows what they're about generally now, and I feel like having having Kamala being someone who's relatively unknown to normies, and just for it to be the kind of person who loves the Avengers just in general as a fan as well, kind of makes it a bit more you can see yourself within that character. Yeah, that's what I mean. It makes it more personal. Makes it. She was just she was my favourite character within the story.
Yeah,
which I thought was cool, and I think they did her really well. And I'm looking forward.
They can show her the ropes at the same time as showing you the ropes for how the game is set out. And that's quite a good way to introduce you to it without kind of babying you.
Yeah.
Which I think was quite a good idea.
Yeah.
And it's also awesome when she's walking around oh my god, that's Captain America's shield. Oh my god, that's awesome. And you're yeah, it is.
Yeah, because that's exactly what you're like when you're walking around. You're like, oh my god, Captain America's shield. Yeah, so I think she's the perfect character to be the main focus point of the story, because that's how you would be if you were with the Avengers kind of thing. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So after you do the A-Day stuff, Captain America has apparently died. The Avengers get the blame basically for this Inhuman outbreak and disband. And then AIM comes up to like take their place. And
Interesting choice to make it AIM, I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like they've used AIM because AIM haven't been really used in the MCU. Like,
I really used
slightly, yeah, but like not. They were in like one thing.
Worst
like,
movies in the MCU. It's okay, Chris. You can say it. It's fine.
It's not a great movie. I agree, but I feel like they're because of how they were used isn't really what they are.
Yeah.
Like they could show
they're
them.
They're trying to separate themselves from the MCU as much as possible.
Yeah,
which is not a bad thing.
Which a lot of people are annoyed about and don't like.
I really like it.
Carry on. You go on.
With like the games that have come out so far, like Lego Marvel, and not the second one, but the first one definitely, and the newest Ultimate Alliance game, they were very, very MCU influenced.
Yeah.
And it's like this isn't like you're a comic book game, not a movie game.
Yeah. I'm glad because like when I went into it, like when you first saw them in the trailers and stuff, they do kind of slightly feel like Avengers rip-offs. Like, but when you go into playing it, I, like more now in this beta than any of the other demos I've played in the past, I kind of feel like they're their own characters, and I'm seeing them as like the video game version of Captain America rather than the MCU Captain America or whatever, and I can see them as their own kind of character separate from that now, and I think that's the voice acting is really good, and I think that puts that across.
It's not a particularly safe choice that they've made it so distant from the MCU, but it's definitely a good one. Because obviously the people that have only ever watched the movies,
which is a lot of people, most people I would say.
Yeah, it is a lot of people. And I can see why they're kind of annoyed, because it kind of deviates from what they know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of that is
that's
their
the
problem
point.
At the end of the
You
day.
don't wanna...
And the way that you give it like more the comic book versions, it kind of gives you more to work with, and you can deviate from the like movie ideas.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it just makes it fresher. You know,
you don't have to be under that. Like Disney would never allow this.
Yeah,
you don't want to get stuck in the whole. Like the Star Wars games have an issue where they have to fit within the canon of Star Wars, within the film canon, whereas this game doesn't have to fit in the MCU, which is good for it. And having them fresh, having them different to what we already know from the MCU, they're not bogged down by it. They're not held back, and I think that's really
it doesn't constrain them for like future DLC either.
Yeah,
because obviously, like the heroes they've got planned don't have. If it was an MCU game, you'd be like, okay, the heroes coming up are going to be Falcon, Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch, Black Knight, like Shang-Chi, whoever else has got a movie coming out.
Yeah.
Because they're who they're going to want to advertise those characters. But with this, they can just pick anyone from the Avengers history.
Legit. And there's a lot of
but hopefully still Scarlet Witch.
Oh boy, is there a lot.
There's 2 more little story missions that you have to do.
Yeah,
so after this like little time skip, there's a mission where you team up as Kamala Khan and Hulk, and you go and infiltrate an AIM facility. You discover that they've got a cure for this Inhuman outbreak.
Cure.
And then you go off to find Jarvis as well, and there's a nice little base you can explore with some Avengers nods in there. Some nice little references.
That is cute.
The Captain America's first shield and all that. That was cool. I did like
Tony's
that.
guitar.
And then the last one is you can explore around the helicarrier, which I really liked.
It's very Mass Effect, that is. It's got Mass Effect vibes, hasn't it, the helicarrier?
It's like your little hub, in it?
Yeah.
Which is cool. And apparently you can, not in the beta, but you can, in the proper game, you can kind of like customize it.
Yeah,
which
I was going to say, it kind of gives you the vibe that as the story progresses, you'll unlock different doors where Avengers will go and
just go in your bedrooms.
And then you'll be able to clean it up. I imagine eventually you'll get it back in the sky, probably.
I'd assume so. I hope so.
It's cool that it's kind of you can kind of imagine just working on it and getting progress
Building
on
up.
your little hub area to make it better. The only thing that I didn't like about the hub area is that she walks at an absolute snail's pace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I imagine that's
You
something
can't
to do with
sprint, which is
loading.
annoying.
That's something to do with loading more than likely. But
Probably, but
I think it's because you're so used to running around and jumping around like crazy distances and stuff. Like, and then when you get into that, you're a bit not gonna. You want to jump around, but you can't. But it makes sense because she wouldn't be flipping around the place. You'd think.
What? If you could do that, you would.
Exactly.
yeah, to be fair. If she was that excited.
You don't see
I'd
Iron
be
in any of the TV shows or the movies. You don't see Iron Man flying around inside the helicarrier when he's not in it, like in a fight.
Iron Man's a dick.
But that's
And
exactly
idiots.
what I would do if I had an Iron Man suit. I would never walk again.
Same. I'd be like trying to break into like Captain America's room, like I need to see the secrets.
I'm liking the story so far. I think it seems cool. We don't think, obviously, I don't think Captain America's going to be dead.
He better not be, because he's my favourite.
I think
It's
that
the fact
wouldn't.
that
Well,
one of the developers referred to him in one of the recent posts as the "are not dead hero"
Oh,
in like
well, there you go then.
points, and I'm like, you couldn't make it any more obvious if you tried.
The thing is, like, there's no way he's going to be dead. They wouldn't even introduce him with his own like move set and stuff.
But
Yeah,
they
like-
wouldn't
In the
put
first
his entire moveset in if they were just going to kill him off
Kill him at the
immediately.
start.
I saw on
Literally.
Reddit
They
one of the
wouldn't do that.
missions had glitched out for someone while they were playing, and they loaded in as Captain America, and he had his own like challenge card and like costumes and stuff. Which obviously, if he
Fair
dies in
enough.
the opening mission,
Dead. It's funny.
right. So once you get to the helicarrier and you've explored a bit, you try and plug Jarvis in, and he's like, "I need a new neural uplink because mine isn't working."
He broke it.
And so you have to go with Hulk again to try and find one in this snowy place. I can't think of the word. Tundra?
And no one
Yeah.
wears clothes that are meant for snow, which I noticed.
No.
like,
Like,
he's out there with his
Marvel's
shirt
there
off.
with like a 3/4 length.
Literally.
One of the things that they did put onto it was like during the mission there can be like hazards, and one of the hazards was that the snowy environment and enemies use
Freeze.
cold-based weapons.
Yeah.
So some of the gear that you can use can be cold resistant to make it so you don't take
Yeah.
as much damage from the cold. So it's up to you to make sure you've got the right gear for the job, which I
Yeah.
thought was actually quite a good idea.
Kind of
Yeah,
like
I didn't think
set
it would
yourself
get
up for a
that.
mission.
Yeah, I didn't think it would get that in depth. To be
The only
honest, I
annoying
didn't
thing
think
is
the
that
beta
we were
would.
playing the beta, all the cold resisting gear dropped in that mission, so there
Yeah.
wasn't a way.
Yeah.
Legit, yeah. But it's good to know that you've got it later.
Yeah.
I didn't think they'd put as much
Yeah.
into this beta. I thought it'd be like a few, like it was always going to be the A-Day stuff. Like we've played that like a million times. We know about the A-Day, but like I thought we'd do that one, and then maybe like one other story mission, and then
Same.
like just like one example of each of the different multiplayers. But they really put a lot into it.
They gave
considering-
us a lot more story content than I thought we'd get.
Yeah,
Like, I expected just that A-Day mission for the story content and then the
Yeah.
multiplayer stuff straight away. But we actually got more story content with more cutscenes. Where was the snowy place the place where you fought Abomination? Or was that
I want to
before?
say
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah.
entirely.
That
I
was
think it was.
that was
yeah.
a cool boss battle. I like that.
It was
fun.
good.
It was actually, yeah. I quite enjoyed that.
But I'm shocked about how much story content we got and how it seems
Yeah.
to be a lot more fleshed out than I expected.
yeah,
And I'm hyped to play more. I'm just hoping that it's not too short when the game comes out. 'Cause
yeah.
obviously I want to jump in with my friends as quickly as possible, but like I kind of want a decent amount of campaign, like full-on
Of course,
campaign
yeah.
story as well, just so I can like. I know it's not going to be as like fleshed out and as good as the Spider-Man one for PS4. Like that, obviously that was a single-player game. I know it's not
Yeah.
going to be as fleshed out as that, but it's something that's like even half as good as that would be fun. I'd like that.
Yeah.
And there's, from the
wanted
looks of it,
to-
it seems similar in tone and similar in like cinematics. So I'm looking forward to it.
I just wanted to mention as well how the story we probably got as much as we did, so they could kind of set the stage that it's aim's bad, so you kind of know what's going on. Because if you were to start straight after the bridge mission,
Yeah.
and they're like, we're going to some AIM headquarters, we're going to do this, we're going to infiltrate this AIM. Everyone's going to be like, well, why? Why is that going on?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I think they kind of give you a little bit more story to kind of say, you know, this is what's going on. We're setting the stage. We're showing you how things are going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think that
You know.
that whole like weird artsy style cutscene in between, telling you what's happened in between A-Day and the now, with the whole like, but it wasn't like a proper cutscene. It was kind of like faded like art pictures, and they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Remember? Like I liked that, but I'm kind of wondering, is that just for the beta, or do you reckon that whole scene will
I
be in the
think probably,
game?
yeah.
More,
Yeah.
I thought it was a possibility it could be more animated in the game.
Like a placeholder.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
seemed like
Maybe.
a narration kind of like of what's going on to set you up for what's going on in the beta, rather than you might have some more stuff in between.
Telling you what you need to
Throughout
know,
the
but
game.
keeping some things from you as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
because definitely in that A-Day mission that we played at EGX and then now played on the beta, there's a lot, like a few more things that they've added in the beta that wasn't when we in the EGX thing that we played, like seeing the AIM scientist and stuff like that. None of that, like
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff in the Captain America bit was missing, but obviously that's because they know, we know now that the bad guy's AIM. We know now that the who that guy's been set up to be because of trailers and stuff. I think obviously they put all that in, but I was
I have
surprised
to
at how
say-
much was missing.
I have to say the EGX demo, like I was very hyped for this game, and like it's sponsored by Virgin Media, and Virgin Media always have the best setup at EGX. They always have the best like overall experience, and like it was the demo was okay, but I didn't come off of it thinking I've got to have this game. I was kind of a bit like I didn't like Iron Man's how he worked. I don't like his combat.
Yeah,
No.
Still not sold on it. He moves too fast for me. And
it's a lot. I can tell you. We'll get onto him later. I'll tell you
Yeah,
later. But
like-
it does get a lot better.
I know obviously like you can improve his combat, but if it's going to be a lot of those segments where you need to fly really fast, I can't.
You
Like
can't do it,
I
yeah.
can't
Yeah.
do it.
Motion
I
sickness
can't.
is
I know what you mean.
I can't, like-
I can't aim and shoot people at the same time as flying. I just can't do it. As
It
Iron
just
Man.
makes
I
me
just don't
feel like
appreciate that.
it makes me feel really sick. And if
I
that's
don't
going to
mind
be
it.
like a staple of his combat, then I'm not feeling it. Hulk in the beta I thought was in the demo, sorry, EGX was really basic. Then expanding on him in the demo, he's got a lot more going on.
Yeah, it's definitely more.
So
expanded.
yeah, this has done a lot. This playing this one beta last week has done a lot more for this game than anything I've seen before. Anything they've like come out and said about it. Playing the demo, it's like until you actually play it, it's weird. Like it's
Yeah.
it's the experience that you have with the other people that makes this game.
I always felt with
Yeah,
with that
definitely.
A-Day mission demo that we played at EGX, something was missing. I don't know
it's
why I couldn't
bland,
put my
wasn't
finger
it?
on it, but something was missing about it. But even playing that now in the beta, that seems a lot more like it flowed more, and there was it flew a lot better, and there's a lot of improvements in it. But even still, I don't think that sells the game for what it is. That one
No.
demo, like I don't understand why they showed that at like so many like.
It's because it's a
stuff.
set piece
I get it, yeah.
that's designed to highlight what the heroes are about.
but
And show off
Yeah.
as much of the heroes as they could
But
individually.
even, I only liked how two of the heroes handled in that mission, but when I play as other heroes later in the beta, they're a lot better, and they
think
don't
it's-
handle as stupidly. Like Iron Man handled terribly in that demo in all the times I
Yeah.
played it, but when you get to the beta, he handles like great.
It's
I don't
like
think
as
it, I
Katie
think
said,
it's to set
it's
up
like set
the
pieces.
core.
Yeah,
It's to set up their core abilities. Where they're like, oh look, this is happening. Oh yeah, but you can do this. It's to teach you like their basic skill set.
It is
Yeah.
the very basic
Yeah.
tutorial, just to
That's
show
what it
off
is, yeah.
what they can do.
yeah, yeah. But that's why I thought it was weird. They showing that to all like the media and everything way before this, like for what, a year and a half. It's like
Yeah.
everyone was like, I don't know, and that's why, because they
Yeah.
showed that bit, which was the very basic tutorial level, and everyone's like, But obviously, a lot of people are feeling a lot better about it now, so that's good.
It
But-
could have been worse. They could have took a book out of Warner Brothers gaming marketing and just not shown anything for years, and then be
Yeah.
like, "The game's coming out tomorrow. Have fun."
Yeah.
Like, we might get sued for bad method.
I don't care.
They don't
Come
watch
fight me.
this.
Block me on Twitter like they did half the fan base. Let's go.
Strong
Savage.
thoughts from Jake there. But
But not wrong.
once you've done all the story content, you jump into the war table with the war zones and the multiplayer and all that. You unlock, because up to that point you can only play as Hulk and Kamala, and then you unlock Black Widow and Iron Man, which they're the 4 heroes you can play as in the beta, which I was
But you
slightly
don't
disappointed
unlock
by.
those through story. They just give them to you, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
So
So
I
I
imagine you'll have to play through and get them one by one, but for the sake of the beta,
yeah.
You have
they'll
to recruit them,
literally
won't
give you the
you?
extra 2 characters.
Yeah.
I
assume
imagine
so,
they'll have their own missions where you go enough to go and get Iron Man and to go and find Black Widow, to find whoever's left.
But obviously,
There
they
you
don't
go.
want to be showing us that yet.
Yeah.
They want to keep that for when the game comes out.
Yeah.
So they do let you
100%.
play as those characters. So you can have a 4-man squad if you do want to play the beta together. Which is good.
Which is the best bit of the beta, playing together. I think I had a bunch of fun playing that. Like,
For sure.
yes, it's glitchy, and yes, it did get a bit framey at one point. I don't know if it did for everyone else, but Iron Man,
Yeah.
like, especially when loads is going on the screen, it's just like jittery all over the place. I'm hoping they fix that, because like when you're trying to fly around, it's difficult. But
do you want to talk about the harm rooms first? Before we
yeah,
talk
should we jump
about,
in?
the
Yeah,
other
let's jump into the harm room first. What?
Yeah.
What's it stand for, Jake? You should know this, right? I bet you know this.
It stands for we don't have the rights to the danger.
Danger room for X-Men, yeah.
I mean, basically, yeah.
I know the AR part means augmented reality, but I don't know what the H and the M mean.
I mean, it's pretty much a danger room. That's
Probably
it's even got. Yeah, makes sense. It's even got sensibles in.
augmented reality.
Magic room.
This game does have,
Madhouse.
this game has the same vibes as X-Men Legends 1. Jake, deny or confirm.
It is true, to be fair.
Playing as the newbie to the team, exploring where their heroes live, recruiting the individual heroes. It's got X-Men Legends vibes.
It's a bit like X-Men Legends 1, Avengers, like the first Avengers movie, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 had a baby.
See, my things were like it's Ultimate Alliance with better graphics than Destiny gameplay.
It is very Destiny. Multiplayer is very Destiny-like.
But back to the harm rooms. The harm rooms are fun. Like
Yeah.
just like quick little challenges. They don't take that long. It's just waves of enemies, just taking them on. I think that's really cool. Like they get harder as you go on as well.
Of course, yeah. I would say the harm room was probably where we encountered the most glitches at this point.
Yeah.
No, I disagree.
As a 4-man squad, it was.
Not for me.
Yeah.
I think the visual glitches, yeah, but like not like the game breaking ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of instances where one of us could see an enemy and it was completely invisible. For another one, it looked like they were attacking air, or the enemies would get like clipped into the level geometry and stuff
I
like
found
that.
a technical
I mean,
name for that. Enemy desync.
Or like I'd yeet an enemy with my
Yeah.
floppy arms, and
The
then
more
it
you
would just
know.
disappear for everyone else.
Yeah.
The amount of times like I've had an enemy just floating around on screen, like being like dragged around by his arm, but I just can't see his arm. And it looks really weird.
But that's the thing. It's only minor. Like the game, it still works really well, pretty much as intended. And like you say, at the moment it's a beta, so
Yeah.
you know by the
I'm
time it comes out,
Yeah.
they'll have patched all that. It'll be a lot smoother, and I'm sure most of those things won't be there.
Well, yeah.
And it's not even like you can be nitpicky about it.
Well, no, it's a beta.
not a big issue.
This is what it's for. The beta is to weed out all these bugs and find out what's wrong with it,
Exactly,
and for them to fix
sure.
it. That's the point. I can't complain about it in the beta. If it ends up in the actual game, then people can complain. That's
Yeah.
fine. But like in a beta, I
But
can't
it
really
does work really well,
judge it.
though.
When it works really fun,
Yeah.
really well, and it all gels together. Should we talk about the different types of missions that we did? So we did the harm room, which was just like a wave enemy kind of thing. The only problem with my harm room for me playing as Iron Man wasn't much room to fly around in,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
is kind of like the main staple of his game. So it's like bit iffy. But we did the mission we did after that was the massive one, which was like a villain sector or something, and that was the one where I found the most glitches. Because, like, you know, when we landed, this was the one where we tried to do the first day of the beta, and it wouldn't let us get through it because like none of the enemies were spawning on where they were supposed to, and 2 of them weren't dying, stuff like that, which was just expected in a beta. It happens, but when we actually got into it with all 4 of us the next day, it was enjoyable. It was really fun.
It was really fun.
My only issue is there's a lot going on the screen at the same time, and I think that's what caused my frame rate issues. But hopefully they're fixed, like I said. But I really enjoyed that mission because it's like it's a long one. It's not like one of those like you just go in, jump in, and come back out. You're going through a whole like different sections with different enemies, and then there's a massive boss battle at the end, which I think is really
there's
cool.
4-man puzzles as well.
Yeah, 4-man puzzles. There's different like chests around to find different other side quests kind of things, which is really cool.
Some which are marked and some aren't marked, so you have to keep your eyes peeled, which personally I quite like.
Yeah. Well, there's proper exploration in it as well.
Yeah.
So that's
Cause it's me and Katie that goes around looking for all like the little bits and bobs that we can collect because we just crave the mineral.
We do. On Anthem, that was like we'd spend hours going around like picking up all the stuff and all the levels. Yeah, what a mistake that was, but hey, you live and you learn.
But
we spent more hours collecting materials than they spent working on the game.
I know.
Well, not now. They're doing more now, but still, we'll see.
It's too late.
But I really like this mission because it was like it was proper open world style mission, and the boss battle at the end was really cool.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed the boss battle at the end as well, to be fair.
It promotes teamwork in a way that I don't want to say forces, because it encourages you to play your hero the way they intended them to be played.
Yeah.
Like the big spider bot, if that's what we want to call it.
The Destiny spider bot.
Spider-like. When you have to blow up all the different pieces of it, you know, you got all these different pieces from the top to the bottom. Makes sense for Chris, who's Iron Man, me as Black Widow, the grapple up there. We take the ones out on the top.
Yeah.
Jake and Nathan, Hulk,
take out the legs.
Ms. Marvel at the bottom. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. I like it when you kind of have to sort of, because you're all just not kind of there pressing buttons. Like, your characters actually have a good purpose.
There's
You're playing the part.
Yeah, there's different parts to aim for. There's different things for each character to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It works, and I liked how like there was different phases of the boss battle, but it wasn't just like, because it started off destroy the legs, and then it went down, and then you destroy its like, I don't know whether it's butt or face. I don't know which
side of
section
the
it
legs,
was.
and then both sides of the legs.
Yeah, I liked that it was
panels and then the top panels and then all of it together.
Yeah, I liked how it was all different phases rather than it could have been after it gets up again, just its legs again, which would have been a bit shit. But it ended up being all different things, and it got like more weapons as it went on somehow. But like that was really cool, and it made it harder.
I really enjoyed that.
That was my favourite bit of the whole demo, just doing that mission, doing that boss battle. I thought that was really...
Yeah, I think it was one as well, to be fair.
That really showed what the game was for me. Like, and how much fun it could be with the teamwork and stuff.
The only thing is, like, I know we had so much fun playing that, but I'm not sure it would be the same if you were just online playing with random matchmaking people.
Yeah. I feel like this is definitely the type of game where you need people you know, a team you can talk to at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
For
the
that
fact
teamwork.
that you can communicate to people that you already know and know well, and you can say, right, well, you can probably do this better than me, or you can take it, or I'll take this bit, or I've just found a chest, come over here and take part in this chest that I found, you know.
100%.
I think that makes it such a better game.
Yeah.
So, like I say, if you do get it or you do play the beta, you should probably try and play it with friends rather than just randoms online.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's why they're having a decent length campaign, is for those people that just want to play on their own.
Yeah.
And that's why matchmaking is a thing, but it's just like, I feel like the best that this game has to show is the multiplayer, playing with your friends kind of co-op situation.
Definitely.
After the big villain mission, we did a couple of smaller ones called drop zones, which are just like you jump in, beat up a bunch of enemies, have a few waves of different enemies going through different rooms. There's like a little objective, like destroy some stuff at the end, and then you're out. I feel like they're the quick missions to go in, XP grind, and come back out.
5 minutes and then out.
Yeah, which is
but
fine.
Not even that. Like the one we did was like destroy all the fans. So if we literally wanted to drop into that mission and like spend an hour grinding
to kill people before we destroyed the fans. Yeah. True.
Well,
they kept
the
spawning.
enemies stop spawning because you never know, they might stop spawning after a certain
True.
point, just so that people
Maybe.
can't grind it like that.
Yeah,
But
I
we
imagine they'll
didn't,
stop
because
stuff like that.
I think what we did is we went in, destroyed the fans, thinking, oh, then there'll be another objective, and it was like, oh, you've finished the level, and it's like,
Yeah.
all right then. I guess.
We were like, forget the enemies, just focus on the fans, and then the mission was over, and we're like, oh.
Yeah. There was a few of them, and the one thing I do worry about with those missions is there's going to be too many of them. Like I'm not a fan of the smaller ones because it feels like what's the point?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm a much bigger fan of the larger ones. I'm hoping there's more larger ones than there is smaller ones, and the smaller ones can just be used to like XP grind, like for a little bit, like not too much.
They are kind of grindy, but like you say, if you can use them to grind and get XP and you know, get better and get more equipment and stuff, then fair play. Like if you don't want to spend a half an hour going through it,
if you got like 10 minutes
to
or
get
whatever,
a few extra points or whatever,
And I can see people
Just
using
one of
them
these
to
quick
like
ones.
test out different setups and stuff because it's quick.
Yeah.
So they'll have their purpose. I just hope there's not too many of them to kind of like bog down the game a bit. Then they had the war zones, which are the bigger versions of these. I feel like they weren't as big as the villain one, but they were like decent length, and there was
like
a big
Go
objective
Help
at
the
the
Shield
end.
Agents one.
Yeah, which I think it's really cool because they're actually there and they're actually like shooting stuff. But they do like some of the AI is a bit dumb there because they do walk into fire and stuff like that. Which one guy was just walking around on fire. I was like, no wonder you're losing.
Stop, drop and roll, mate.
But I really enjoyed the multiplayer overall. I think some of the leveling up systems are really cool. Like the way you can kind of like build your own kind of like character. Like build your own Iron Man, build your own sort of.
It makes it feel a bit RPG, which I really like.
And we only really saw like a little bit of the skill
exactly.
sets.
There's 3 pages of skills, and in the beta you can only see 1.
Wow. What's
apparently
added on for Iron Man though? That's crazy. Do we want to talk about the characters we played as in like the multiplayer before we get into like the skill trees and all that? Who wants to go first? Anyone? Kate's made notes, so Kate goes
I
first.
made a little note. You say that like I've got like 10 pages. I've literally got like 3 sentences. So let me get my notes. Okay, so I played as Black Widow, and pretty much she was my favourite when I played the EGX demo. She was the one that I knew I wanted to play as. So her light attacks are just basic like martial arts move. Her heavy attacks, she uses her like stun batons. Again, pretty standard. She has range, she has dual pistols, and they start off as just basic sort of pistols, but you can upgrade them, you can change them, and you can switch between all the different modes, which I like that, because I thought maybe you'd upgrade and you'd have to kind of choose which one to take into the mission.
You upgraded them to Uzis, right?
Yeah, but they're like blaster bolts from Star Wars because they were like blue.
I've seen images where you can upgrade that to like a sniper rifle and stuff.
Yeah, there's like one sort of
very nice
like magnum bullet sort of thing, like Resident Evil kind of style, like the bullet that you know is gonna just absolutely destroy.
And you changed it through them with the D-pad?
You literally like press the button to bring the guns up, and then I think you press on the D-pad, and
that's similar to Iron Man stuff. Yeah.
Across the top, you have like little icons, and they tell you what bullets you kind of using, what guns you're kind of using.
Yeah.
The grapple is really cool because obviously you can kind of like swing like Spider-Man across the environment, but you can grab the enemies. You can do like attacks with the grapple, which pretty sick to be fair.
Sounds
so her abilities. I had to put such a shift in to get the names of these abilities because I literally couldn't find them online. So her, she's got an ability called the Veil of Shadows, which basically turns her invisible, and it can affect the other heroes in your team as well.
That's
like, it's okay, but like, I think if it was PvP. It would feel more.
How would they even do PvP in this game?
I know that's what I'm saying. Like it's fun, but I don't know. I don't know. That's the.
I've got an idea on how to do it, but I'll save it for later.
Okay.
That's the kind of worst one. out of her abilities, I would say. You got the Widow's Bite again, standard, just stun attack. Pretty cool.
Is that like an electrical thing?
That's the Widow's Bite.
No, I know what it is, but how's it working?
Oh, yeah.
Is it literally just like stun them, like electrocute?
You kind of shoot it in this.
Okay.
Whereas in the MCU, I think she kind of like she
chucks it on them.
She just touches them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can't remember.
And then her like ultimate, if that's what we're calling it, it's called Power Surge. And she kind of gets a staff, like if anyone played Destiny, it's like the Arc Strider Hunter kind of ultimate, where you can just do like massive attacks with this staff. It deals a lot of damage. I think you get a bit faster, that sort of thing, which is pretty cool. It's a good sort of like area managing attack.
Oh, that's cool.
I have seen online, because obviously I was doing a bit of research into this, trying to find the names of the attacks. People are saying she feels too powerful, that she's broken. Because obviously she's a human compared to all these other members of the team who aren't. But I think what a lot of people forget or don't even know because of the MCU, like the Black Widows are enhanced with their own version of the Super Soldier Serum. And that never really came to light in the MCU. I don't think that's a part of her story in the MCU.
Might be in the Black Widow movie.
It could be. Because I was always wondering that, whether like she was supposed to be the enhanced version.
Yeah.
So, like, if they feel like, you know, it could be potentially be that this particular Widow has that serum.
Yeah, because I heard a lot of people saying, why can she jump so high when she's just
exactly,
like,
yeah. That's what
because in the comics, she has some sort of super serum.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Because the MCU version, that's what it is.
She's very fast. She's very quick-paced. She's a sort of, like, in-and-out character. Yeah. She's an all-rounder character. Definitely the character I'll be taking forward when we get the full game.
She seems like she's, like, really good at, like, DPS and stuff.
Yeah.
She's kind of got, like, that's what I'm saying, she can kind of cover everything, because she's got, obviously, the melee, the ranged, the stealth, the big area attacks. Like, she can traverse with the grapple. Like, she's kind of got it all. Like, you can grapple an enemy in the air and then, like, launch a combo off on the enemy in the air. So, if you haven't got an Iron Man, to some extent, Black Widow can try and do that too.
And there's going to be times when you don't necessarily have an Iron Man. You know what I mean? So that they have to cater for that, I guess.
And Thor, I suppose, because Thor will be able to fly.
She's got the range, darling, the range.
Exactly, literally exactly.
Jay, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so obviously, like, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, she's not the most well-known out of all of them. So just a run-through of what she can do. She's got morphogenetic powers, like she can stretch her cells.
She stretch arms?
No, she doesn't do that. That's completely wrong. That's what it looks like she's doing. What she actually does, and it's really weird, I had to, like, look this up to make sure I was getting it right. She borrows bits of her mass from other versions of her throughout time.
Okay, that's way more in depth than I thought it was going to be.
Like,
I thought she was just Mr. Stretch Armstrong.
No, she's like, when she shrinks, she sends her mass forward in time to, like, when she needs to be big.
Lol.
Which is really, like,
that's so weird.
But that's how that works.
Okay. Wonder how they're going to explain that, or whether they will even bother.
I think they've confirmed that it works the same.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, so, like, her whole thing is, like, elongation. And I think there are some, like, attacks, like, when she dodges where she shrinks, but it's mainly, like, her getting bigger or stretching.
Didn't she say embiggen with one of her,
Yeah, so, like, would you say it was that ultimate, the shoulder button one?
Yeah.
So, like, her ultimate is embiggen, so she, like, basically just becomes huge. And,
gets bigger.
Like, she does, like, the typical massive game character thing where they're, like, thrashing their arms about, like, throwing people about. So yeah, and then her other attacks are, like, she can, like, stretch her hand out and do, like, a really big high five.
I love that move.
Yeah, and she's
so
also got her other ability, which is, like, it automatically, like, fully heals you, because she's got a really good healing factor.
Suppose you're borrowing particles from somewhere else, you can just borrow the healed particles from somewhere else. I guess that works, right?
Yeah. The one thing it doesn't really show, which would be a really irritating gameplay mechanic to be fair, is like, is she supposed to become really like tired and hungry after she uses that power? But
I feel like in the trailers I've seen, she's eating a lot, so that would make sense. They might have actually put that in.
I really like how, so like her R2 ability, I don't know what it is, when you hold it down and
the
hold,
aim,
like,
the aim ability, basically. Yeah. Is that the one?
no, like her aim ability, she just like throws out a really stretchy punch. But like, you know, like when you're playing as Hulk and he has like the rage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's got one which like she gets a little bit bigger and she starts to glow yellow because.
Yeah, it makes her more powerful, doesn't it?
She does that when she uses her powers.
I think that's what it does. It makes her more powerful.
Yeah, and like my favourite move that I unlocked with her is like if you're holding that down and then you hold square, she like spins round and like stretches both her arms around and hits like every enemy like within a certain radius.
That's amazing.
Which is cool. But yeah, I really liked playing as her more than I thought I would. She's like
same.
She uses her stretchiness to be able to like grapple and like throw herself around the battlefield.
And she can jump really far, can't she?
Yeah, she can jump really fast. She does like mad wrestling moves on the big robots.
I love when I saw that for the first time. I was like, "This is amazing."
I didn't expect to find her gameplay as fun as I did.
Same. Because we got to play as a little bit in the story. So
my only real problem with her is the like challenge card because she's a newer hero and she's not got like 60 odd years of comic books to fall back on. Her outfits are kind of just like really samey, apart from my favourite one with the
frog head,
frog hat.
The froggy one.
She does have some superhero outfits, but like she's, a lot of them are just her with a t-shirt of Iron Man or a t-shirt of Thor, and it's like okay.
Or just like a palette swap of like her original outfit, and it's just like okay.
I imagine I'll add more outfits later on. Yeah. But I really enjoyed playing her as well. Because like we got to play as her in the story content, and she was a lot better than I expected her to be.
Yeah, same.
And it's just interesting gameplay that because like obviously that's the hero that me personally anyway knows the least about out of all the people who are in there, and I just found her really fun to play and really like her powers are really cool. I really liked it, and I like hitting people with my big arm.
Yeah,
because it's just fun.
Where the Hulk's really satisfying to players because everyone likes smashing stuff up. For me, she was a little bit more satisfying because she's faster.
Yeah.
She feels like as strong, but she's just faster.
I really like the little animation when she jumps as well. Because like when she jumps, like her legs get bigger, and that's what propels her forward. Like, like great lengths, and I think that's really really cool. And that really cool like little animation decision to make because they could just have her jump, but like the fact that her legs grew to propel her forward, I thought that was really cool. Nathan, do you wanna jump in with the Hulk?
Yeah, sure. So I played as the Hulk mainly because nobody else wanted to. But
I mean, there's
Nathan took on for the team.
I was quite happy to play as anyone but Iron Man, to be honest. So I honestly did not mind.
Which is why I took Iron Man.
this is where Chris took Iron Man. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed playing as the Hulk. I bought the comic book skin, I think it was, that made him look super green.
Yeah.
Which I really liked.
Does that mean he's super angry? The more green he is.
Yeah, the greenery is the more angry. So does that mean when he uses like the grey skin, he's just like really chill?
It's a different mood.
Especially that like Hawaiian shirt skin that is.
I mean, he's wearing like a holiday.
The one he's just like come back, like his holidaying in Spain outfit. That
What an absolute mood. So yeah, his attacks like square and triangle, just light attack, heavy attack. If you hold the triangle button, you can do like a slam. That does more damage, and you can like take out people's shields. I think everyone's triangle ability can do that.
If you hold it down, yeah.
So I found that useful. One of the things that I really liked doing was like jumping up and then using the strong attack ability to like hover in midair, like kind of charge it up and then punch down on them, which I really did like. I just love doing that in any kind of game, to be fair. And his like super ultimate abilities or whatever. It's like there's one where you kind of power up and then charge into the enemies, which is quite useful. But I did find myself missing the enemies quite a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And the other basic one is you basically just hammer into an enemy. It's quite useful for like the bigger enemies and kind of like the mini boss type enemies. So that was good. And then the one that you have to use like both the triggers for is Thunderclap, and he just builds up this like gamma power and claps, and it sounds like a shockwave. And it's for big enemies, it's not very good, but for like small basic enemies, you can wipe out like 10 of them in one tap. And
like an area of effect kind of power.
Yeah, it's really good. Also, like Hulk, like Jake said, with Ms. Marvel, he's got like this rage ability, so you can hold down the button to kind of use some of your ultimate bar power to make your attack stronger. But when you do attack, it also heals some of your health up as well, which I found really helpful.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I found it really helpful because obviously getting to know how to use the controllers and stuff, I found myself like dying a lot.
I feel like with Hulk, he's a big target as well.
Yeah.
So like he's going to be hit a lot more.
Being able to heal myself up by doing more damage at the same time to enemies, I found was like a really good thing for me to use as that character.
Well, yeah, because that would entice Hulk to get into like to do what Hulk would do and just get in there and smash people. So that makes sense.
Just smash, yeah. There's things about the Hulk, like I really like that. You can kind of, it's not a double jump, but you can do a jump, and it's not particularly that high. But if you keep jumping, you can kind of get higher. And I found myself like when playing the levels or playing in the harm room, just like jumping around to get to places faster.
Yeah.
Just because if it's like kind of room where you need to climb, you can just bound and bound and bound, or from platform to platform to platform. It just makes it really easy. I did have a bit of trouble in certain areas where it was like, I think it was the bit where we did the puzzle where we all had to throw, hit a button at the same time to open that thing in the floor. It took me a little bit of time to get out of that room, because if you don't line up the jumps correctly, he just like hits his head off the roof or whatever. He doesn't always grab the sides. He does a lot of the time, but I did find that a little bit kind of irritating.
Like if you don't get it spot on, he just slides off.
I really like how the jumps work in general, but yeah, that was the one thing that I didn't like. Aside from that, his ranged attack, he can pick up a piece of debris from the floor and just like lob it. And I managed to upgrade this ability, so it's like a bigger piece of debris that was on fire, so it does more damage, and I really like that.
Does he set it on fire himself? Just like
all in that elevator going up, and you're just there holding it in the background.
Yeah, I know, I love it. But yeah, it was kind of refreshing to have a ranged attack as Hulk, because I feel like I kind of expected him to just be punching, and that's it. But and then I'd have to leave like the flying enemies and stuff to other people. But that's not the case. Like, you can throw the debris at them and hit them, so that's one option. Or you do have another option where if you jump and punch, you kind of get like airtime, so you can defeat enemies that are in the air as well, which I really liked about him as well. So even though considering no one wanted to play with him, I actually really enjoyed playing as him, I've got to say. I think he worked really well.
That's one thing I've seen a lot of people, like especially Reddit, complaining about, is that, like, obviously because all the heroes have got like the light attack, the heavy attack, the charge attack, and the ranged attack, they all feel the same, which they absolutely don't.
I disagree.
No,
with
they
that.
definitely don't.
Like, yes, fundamentally they are all doing the same things. All the controls are the same for every hero.
Yeah, but that's
But,
good,
like,
because
they all
otherwise you'd be
feel
like,
so different.
if the controls were different, it would get confusing if you move between characters like constantly, which you're going to be doing in this type of game, especially in the campaign. So it would make sense. One thing I just want to point out, when I played as Hulk in the campaign, I liked like his traversal across, like, you know, on the bridge when you're jumping across like different things. I thought that was that's really cool, because that's how Hulk moves in the movies. He doesn't really walk, does he? Yeah. He just bounds everywhere, and I think that's really cool. Like, you can do that, and I think in the open world missions as well, how there's like platforms for like Hulk and certain other characters to jump on. Whereas, I mean,
they can like grip onto the edges, can't they?
I think that's really cool, because like, obviously when I mean, on to me playing Iron Man. When I'm playing Iron Man, like, I'm just flying everywhere. I don't need to use any of this stuff. But obviously, other characters have to get around, so I think that having a set way for them to get around as well quicker, I think that's really good.
Yeah, definitely.
But playing as Iron Man, initially in the bridge demo, I didn't think you played great. I in fact, I thought he played the worst.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
And it's mainly because of his flying mechanic, which is a bit... I kind of wanted it, as much as with this Anthem, I wanted it to feel like Anthem, because the flying in that game felt really good.
Amazing.
And it's like a budget version of Anthem in terms of the flying. It doesn't feel that good, and the lock-on takes too long, and it's really... I find like a lot in this game, like it's hard to aim. Like the aiming's a bit off, and I mean, we can mess around with like the settings and that to maybe fix that for us, but it's just like it felt a bit off for me when I first started. So aiming in the while I'm flying was a bit difficult, and even in those fighting scenes on the bridge, it didn't feel that great because it felt like it's like asking me to punch enemies, and I'm like, am I a man? Why would I be punching people much? You'd think I'd be using like more your blasters and stuff, which you do, but it wasn't as good. But like later on, when you get into the open world missions and you start leveling up and stuff, like your triangles, are they iron blasters? That's what they're called, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, them. The triangle are his blasters, and he punches with square. What I think is really cool with that is you only have so much blaster energy before you run out, and you have to punch to get your blaster energy back up, so you can do more blasters. Otherwise, you'd just be stupidly OP because his blaster's like fucking red.
Yeah.
It can get annoying when you're in the middle of a fight and you run out, and he puts his hand out. He's like, "What's going on?" But I think it's really cool that you have to do that. Flying around's fun, but like more hovering is where he's at his best, and you can just kind of lock onto enemies and start hitting them and stuff. And the combo system with Iron Man, where you can combo the light attacks and the heavy attacks with punches and iron blasts, it's really fun. And he pulls off some really cool fucking looking combos. His like aiming attack is just him literally aiming his hand and shooting, which I didn't really use that much unless I had to like we were damaging a big target and I just had to like stand back and just shoot it, like the big boss in the big villain area. He has what I think is an EMP attack, which kind of like stuns a bunch of enemies, so then when they're stunned you can use your like a finishing move on them, so you hold triangle and circle, which I imagine you guys had as well. Yeah, the triangle and circle move. Yeah. So and then you do a really cool like finishing move on them, which is really cool, which I think because it stuns them, anyone else can use that move on them as well if they're at low enough health. So
you can see it like if you look across the map, any enemy that's in that state, it comes up for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the one that you're fighting.
I did a harm room challenge earlier as well, and I did notice that like the more you punch an enemy, like there's a little tiny meter that does fill up, and then they get stunned.
Yeah. He also has an iron blast come out of his chest, which is really cool. Just like a long beam that it does like a decent amount of damage for a little bit. Can kill one enemy with just one blast, like the smaller ones. But obviously it does a decent amount of damage on the bigger ones as well. But like the biggest, he was very basic when I just had the iron pulses. But like once you upgrade it to like you can change it so he has lasers come out of his wrists or rockets as well. Rockets Iron Man is OP as fuck. Does so much damage. But like you can kind of like just switch out to when you need them. So like the lasers are really good for like close quarters combat when you're doing fisticuffs, stuff like that. They're really good with that. Or when there's a lot of enemies around you, because you can kind of just like do that, and that like kind of like covers the whole area. The iron pulses are kind of like good at mid range, and then the rockets are good at long range and against like bigger enemies because they do a lot more damage. But overall, it's fun to play. But it just took a decent amount of time to get into him, and once you get the unlocks going, the stuff you want is a lot better. Because like my favourite move was just flying over like big groups of enemies and then just like pounding down on the ground, and it kind of like just throws them all back. Yeah, basically that. Yeah, but like it was really really cool, and it just the one thing that I think this game does is it makes you feel powerful with the characters you're playing. Although sometimes I do feel like some of the enemies are a bit of a bullet sponge. Well, not so much a bullets, but like whatever attack sponge. But overall, like I really enjoy playing as Iron Man. And I like all the skins you can unlock for him as well. Even though every time I unlocked the skin, Kate told me to change back to the normal red and gold one because she kept hitting me thinking I'm an enemy.
He was having all these fancy skins on, and I was there playing as Widow, and I was on the other side of the map, and I was shooting this enemy, and I'm like, why is that enemy not taking any damage? And then he'd like flow up in the air, and I'd be like, oh, that's Iron Man.
In our defense, we're both blind, and
we had the
you
same
choose
problem.
a skin with like the same color scheme as the enemy.
That's all they had. Oh, I forgot about his super. His super's the Hulkbuster. And it's really cool because the one thing that we noticed with the Hulkbuster is if I bring it down, I can get in it, and it's really cool. It's basically a more powerful Hulkbuster machine and turns yourself into the Hulk as well. So I can just batter people. But the coolest bit about it is anyone else can use it too. So I can make it come down. Even the Hulk can get in it. It's really cool. And I think
Which we were surprised about, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's quite handy because, like, say we're in a moment where you kind of need someone in the air because you can't really fly with the Hulkbuster that much. If I bring it, if I've got my super ready and I'm not using it, I'll bring it down for someone else so they can like hit an enemy. Like if we're fighting that boss, for example, that might have been useful if I brought it down and you guys hitting its legs while I'm shooting out its things. But obviously with the super, you do more damage. I think that would have been pretty cool. But we didn't do that because we didn't know at that time. But it makes me think like stuff like that. Like, are there going to be other stuff that like is Cap going to be able to use Thor's hammer? Potentially at some point, like, you know what I mean?
So
like,
amazing.
Like, is there going to be other stuff like that? Now, apparently it's been confirmed that you can do the whole Iron Man laser blast off Cap's shield.
Ooh.
That's apparently been confirmed, which will be really cool. Like, I feel like
what about this Thor hammer on the shield shockwave kind of vibe?
Yeah, even that as well. Like, I feel like they did say like there was like group takedowns, but we didn't really do any. It didn't give us the option to do any. I don't think, unless we were just missing it. I don't know.
No, I don't remember seeing any like prompts to do it, so maybe it's just not in yet.
Yeah, we had a lot of individual takedowns, but maybe it's an unlock later on. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
Well be, yeah.
But I think that would be really cool, and I think those kind of things would like show like the teamwork of the game. Like,
you know what would be cool?
Definitely.
They probably would never do this, but it would be cool. Like, say, like, you know, we're a squad. We're gonna play the game together. The more you play, like, as a character as a squad, you're like your rapport builds up, and the more rapport you have, like the more team moves you could do. That would be an interesting.
That would be good.
That would be cool.
That would be quite good. But
potentially it'd be weird how they do that though.
It would make other people feel like alienated that they wouldn't be able to do that with the AI or with you know, just randoms, because I bought the game too. Why can't I do it? Kind of thing.
Unless they did it with just a character thing. So like, say, not necessarily like me playing with like Kate's Black Widow, or just generally playing with Black Widow. You'd be able to do those kind of things. Because like when you're playing on your own, you can set up your own team and who you take.
When you play on your own, the AI characters
are your
they have your particular character's builds.
Yeah.
So it's not just a generic AI of say like I'm Black Widow and I've got an AI Hulk. It will have my powers. It'll have my setup for that AI Hulk.
Yeah, it'll even have like
does it carry the level though? Does it carry like the power level and stuff like that? It does. Okay.
Yeah, it does. Really cool. Because like, obviously when if people aren't on, I'll just jump in, do those quick missions, and you have your own little squad, which is really cool.
Do you know what else is really good about the AI?
What?
It actually revives you, like if you go down.
Yeah, that's
normally
true.
Hulk on mine will literally like sprint over to me and revive me straight away.
Yeah, I like the respawn system in the game as well, because like you don't have to hold a button, you just jump on people and stay there for a little bit, and then they revive. There's no holding a button, so you can still fight while you're doing it, which is good. I like that. There's just a lot of tiny things that I liked about the game, just like the quality of life things, like you can change your gear and stuff in a loading screen. Which is in these types of games is very rare. And it's like it's these types of games which you don't want to be wasting much time. Like, you don't want to be loading into a level, then spending loads of time into your loadout screen, and just like, because that's where you can. Let's not lie, that's where you're going to spend most of your time in this game, checking out all your gear and just like dismantling a bunch of stuff. If you can do it in a loading screen, it saves time. One thing that I hate about games in general is holding buttons to do stuff. I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Like opening chests. And especially with these chests where you can't do it from behind the chest. You have to be exactly in the right position and have for the chest to open it. And no one else can be opening it at the same time. Because the amount of times we all went over to a chest, someone's opening it, but because they're opening it, you can't do it. And everyone's just like doing everyone's just doing like punches and stuff. And it's just like, I feel like one person should open the chest and everyone should get the stuff out.
Yeah.
If you're in the vicinity at least, or at least if they've opened it, it will be on the ground like it is in Destiny and Division, or just have it so you can open it whenever and from whatever angle. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I do like how
that is one thing that I didn't like about it. How like you could open the chest, the chest would animate itself opening up, and then everyone's got to go over and open it separately. Like, if one person opens it, I think it should just go to everyone.
Well, yeah, because you opened the chest, Nathan. I went over there. The chest was open, but then I still had to hold the button to open the chest. And I'm like, it's already open. I can see it. But just little things like that, I feel like they can kind of tweak. Because that's not. I can't imagine that's difficult to do. And, like, those little tweaks would be great. Because like, it's just those kind of little things are just going to get annoying after time, especially when you're in this kind of game where you're going to be constantly just going finding chests wherever.
Especially like when everyone else is ready to move on, and you're just like, "Oh, I've just found a chest over the other side of the map. Do you all want to come and get it?"
You should be able to
like spend like 10 minutes walking over there and opening it yourself.
You should be able to put a marker on the chest as well, because some of them aren't labelled on the map. So I feel like if you can put a marker down, everyone will go over there. Because some of the maps are pretty big, and you could be in like a completely different position on the map to someone else, and they found a chest, and you go when you're like, oh, where's the chest? You gotta like, and then you have someone like shooting at it where it is, so like, you know where it is, and it's like just put it on the map like a marker. That'd be so much easier. There's little things like that could change, and it will just make it a lot better. But a lot of things,
if you could like tag things as points of interest,
you
could say if you were playing the multiplayer with people that you can't speak to, where we did that puzzle where we all had to press the button at the same time, you could kind of send someone to a point of interest and make sure that you're all standing at a different one before you carry on, you know.
Yeah. One other thing I liked as well was the equip most powerful equipment button.
Yes, definitely.
It's so convenient.
Like, you can tell, like, these guys have been looking at all these live service games like Destiny and Division and all that stuff, and like looking at the mistakes they've made and the fixes they've made, and kind of like implemented stuff that fixes the most annoying things in those games in this, with the whole equip the best equipment. Because like, it's so annoying when you have to just keep like going through every single piece of equipment, looking at all the stats and stuff, and it's just like, it'd be easier if you just equip it, and you can. It's great. I do feel like I don't like the little cursor that you have to use.
See, no, I really like the cursor.
See, I felt when I was say I was looking at like leg armor, and then every time I went up to go to the top bit of the grid, but then it always went over like the body armor, and then it went onto body armor. I was like, no, I don't want body armor. No, I feel like if you could just like click into them, and then it went onto that screen.
That is something that I did find annoying, like accidentally going through.
Yeah, it was just I felt that a lot.
I did like the ability to kind of just like cursor around the screen and be like, right, instead of having to find out which shoulder button I need to press to change the tabs or whatever, I can literally just like scroll up and click on it, and that's what I did like. I quite like a little cursor thing in the screen. I thought that was quite good. Apart from, like you say, that bit where you accidentally end up clicking on another category.
Even just make it like, so once you click into it, you can't accidentally go onto another one until you click on the other one. Just make it like that.
That would make sense, yeah, for sure.
Anything else that anyone else found like cool, like little things like that?
Not particularly.
Like the little tiny like links to the classic Marvel comics were really cool.
Yeah,
I like the reporter guy who comes up on the screen being an actual reporter from the comics.
Yeah.
Well, the guy with the eye patch who I had no idea who he was, and then you looked him up and told me he was actually from the comics. I was like, oh. Yeah, those just the Easter egg, like little Easter eggs are really cool. I think I really liked them. I like the battle pass stuff as well. How it's free, like
the battle pass is really
like
good.
how you make make progress and unlock skins, comics, and just random other stuff for the.
At first,
your
I
hero.
found it annoying because I was like, this takes so long to progress through because you only get like 2 daily challenges and 2 weekly challenges.
That's going to be different.
And
when
then I
the
was
real game
like,
comes
wait,
out.
it's because I'm not trying. It's for the actual game. It's like it's meant to take time.
Yeah.
Because this is a game they want you to be playing for like years, so you're gonna
they want it to
I
be a
was
lot of
just trying to
services.
unlock
stuff.
a load of it over the weekend because I knew the beta was finishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that idea, and I like obviously.
Yeah.
So from what I can gather, the only paid microtransactions in this game are going to be like skins. You can pay for skins. Is that
Yeah.
right?
You can pay for skins, or you can pay to progress through the battle pass if you want. But like that's a choice thing. There's no like.
So there's no separate like
You only
paid battle pass like there is in a lot of games where there's like
No.
a free battle pass and then a paid one. That's
No.
good then.
And all you unlock through that battle pass is cosmetics and like resources to upgrade your stuff. But
Yeah.
the resources to upgrade your stuff you find
All the
everywhere
time.
on the maps anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's one
sure.
thing with Iron Man as well, which was annoying. You know, like the health pickups and the resource pickups.
Yeah.
I have to land to get them. I can't just fly over like on them. I have to land,
Yeah, to be fair-
walk on them, and then get back up. Which in a battle you don't want to be doing. I just want to stay in the air as Iron Man.
Like about the resources is like when you find those like glowing boxes that you can smash and then collect the resources inside. What I didn't like is that you have to wait for the thing to like drop out and then fall to the floor before you can pick
Before
it
it
up.
like pick
You
it
don't
up.
you don't just pick it up being like there, which I thought it kind of slows down the pacing a little.
It should be like it should be like the system like in like say like Lego games where it just kind of like if you're sitting within a vicinity of it kind of just floats towards you.
Which it does kind of do.
Not when
If
you're Iron
you
Man.
are in like
As long as you're on the floor, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of does float towards you, but it's kind of if you're smashing the box and it literally has to go through your character model
Yeah.
to reach the floor before you can then pick it up. It's a bit, it slows things down because you have to stand there and wait for it to drop first, which is something that I didn't like. But it's a minor,
Little
it's
things
not-
that
it's not
could
too
easily
bad.
be fixed over time. And
Yeah,
I
for
imagine
sure.
these are the kind of things that people have found in the beta and then let them know. And then they'll
Yeah.
fix them. So it's these kind of little things. That's what that beta is for at the end of the day. It's not, you're not going to see any big changes from this in the real game because it's like a few weeks out. You're
Yeah.
going to see
Yeah.
the tiny, small, annoying things that are going to be changed.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anybody else?
I really like that just kind of you can destroy quite a lot of the environments.
Oh yeah, that was
And
cool.
Yeah.
every so often you can just you can get bits of resources from just destroying things in the environment. Like I know we saw those display cases with like the aim robots in or whatever.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you destroy them, you can get some fragments and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a nice touch that I liked.
Like I love how in those rooms where like you can destroy all like the cases with them in, and you can destroy most of the glass apart from like certain bits of glass which you just can't, and it's like superhero proof glass, like Hulk proof glass for some weird reason. But yeah, I thought that was funny. But no, I really enjoyed the game overall, and I think
Yeah, me too.
I went into it expecting not much, not expecting to like it. I felt like, because obviously the demo I originally played at EGX kind of put a downer on it for me, thinking it seems a bit basic. But obviously jumping in with you guys and playing it to like the beta's fullest, like I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad they gave us so much, because I feel like if they'd just given us like the story stuff or just a couple of missions, I wouldn't have.
We
got-
would have been wanting for more, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like if they gave us enough to think, oh yeah, I want this game. Whereas if they're giving us too little, I would have thought maybe in the same position as I was before, where I was like, I don't know. But like, I definitely want this now, 100%.
There's
Yeah,
only
for sure.
one thing that I'm really worried about, and it's which heroes are coming to the DLC.
Yeah, I've heard rumours about these.
I've heard the same rumours, and they seem very copy-paste from what we already have.
Yes. Now, I was talking to our friend Brian about this, because he brought up that War Machine was one of them.
Yeah.
Katie Bishop and
Yep.
what's the other one? What's the other one, Jake? There was another one.
I can't remember who the other one was, but it's literally
It's
like...
really-
I
oh,
want to say She-Hulk.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it was
it was
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk as well. Them three, and obviously people are saying, they're very copy and paste from Hawkeye, Iron Man, and Hulk. Which they don't have to be necessarily, but I can see what people are saying, and it's like, if they are just if it's only them characters and they're actually proper DLC characters, I'd be worried. But I feel like if they sprinkle them in with like characters like Captain Marvel, I don't know, Black Panther, I don't know, anyone.
Like anyone
who's very different
like, play style.
Yeah, sprinkle them in as well. It kind of builds the roster up a bit more. So like,
who would you most like to see come into it as DLC?
Ooh, good question.
Because I know my answer's already Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, of course yours is. That makes sense. Well, we know we're getting Hawkeye, who was mine, but we're getting that. So,
This is such a hard question.
Literally.
I mean, nobody said Hellcow, and I'm disappointed.
Who?
Hellcow. Bessie, the Hellcow.
Was that an Avengers member? I don't even know.
She's a vampiric cow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I want Ant-Man, and I feel like they confirmed Ant-Man, right?
They confirmed Ant-Man as the first DLC hero, and then kind of went quiet about him forever. And then they were like, "Our first DLC hero is Hawkeye," so I feel like he's been sidelined.
Yeah, because he's like a vendor now, isn't he? He's like a vendor in it, apparently. Like he sells his stuff, and it's like, kind of want him as a hero. I think that'd be pretty cool.
You know what? If we're sticking to like Avenger, because like every person that flashed in my head is like, that's not an Avenger. Like, I think he probably would never come because of his power, but Quicksilver would be an interesting one if they can do it.
Yeah,
I know. I reckon he will. I reckon he'll be one of them. I mean,
Twins DLC when Square Enix.
I was also going to say Spider-Man, but that's also coming. So it's like my favourite hero is coming.
I don't know if he's ever been an Avenger or not, but like Ghost Rider could be interesting.
That would be interesting.
I think
that would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, because like one of his supers could just be like to pull out his motorbike and just mow some bitches down, which would be quite cool. You could play with some like fire powers, which would be interesting. You know,
there's a bunch that would be easy to put in, and that would.
I'll
fit
be annoyed if
easily.
Ant-Man and Wasp aren't playable characters at some point.
I feel like if they come, they have to come together.
Yeah,
As
and
a
it
group.
will annoy me.
No, because like I feel
everyone
like if you
fucks
bring
them off and they were literally found in event.
No,
Like,
yeah.
Wasp was the one who came up with the name Avengers.
If they bring Ant-Man and in the next month they bring Wasp, I feel like they're very similar. Like I feel like if you're going to bring them either together or spread them out.
Like, fire energy
she can fly.
I know, but they still got the whole
There's no time to
going
fly.
small thing. Like they've still both got the going small thing, which is very similar.
Yeah.
To be fair, Wasp is just the good version of Ant-Man. Like once you've got Wasp,
not
you
like
really need Ant-Man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly, that's my point.
He could stay as a vendor, and they could just bring Wasp in.
Yeah, they could. To be fair,
I feel like it would be a very kind of dangerous thing to do, but since the whole story is like the events of A-Day and this gas getting released and turning people into Inhumans, they could just bring a wholly new character into it.
No, give
Not
it
sure they
people will hate that. I feel like people will hate that.
I'm not sure they would.
Maybe really far down the line.
It wouldn't be a safe option at all, but like, I don't know.
That would just piss people off because they'd be like, "How come you're making this character and you've not put insert one of the millions of Avengers?"
Or you know, like if you're going to bring in Inhumans, bring in Quake, I guess.
Do you know what? To be fair, Quake has been a really popular option on Reddit and Twitter.
Because it's all the fanboys of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I know, right?
You're being one of them.
I remember when that show was not cool, and I was the only fan.
For a very long time, and that's why I stopped watching it. I'd be interested to see if they bring in people like Daredevil, Luke Cage.
This is what I was going to say. Do you think that we're going to be sticking with pure Avengers? Or do you think they'll bring in some other...
branch out a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I feel
obviously, like what you're talking about, Chris, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, blah, blah, blah.
Defenders.
They're like part of the Marvel
Defenders.
Knights kind of section of the universe.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, you've got the Guardians, blah, blah, blah. But then if we do all that, is that just the MCU again? Which is kind of what I feel like they're trying not to be.
If they really want to break the mold from the MCU, they should bring in some X-Men.
They could literally do
They
that,
could-
like
they
Beast
could-
and Wolverine.
I would
have
Beast and
been-
Wolverine, yeah. You can bring in some, definitely Wolverine. Everyone would love
come on, not
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Everyone would love
overdone, man.
Wolverine in that game.
Yeah, but come on, I love Wolverine. I like Wolverine as a character, but he's just overdone, overplayed. Every single
He's the
Wolverine
X-Men
is the Iron Man.
Literally.
No, he is. I know. He is.
He's just too much.
Do you know?
But the
has
thing is, these are the
X-Men
characters
and
that people
Avenger,
want, isn't it?
Rogue.
Oh, well, yeah, but you won't be able to touch
Say
any of the
Rogue,
other
mate.
characters.
She can fly.
I don't know. It's one of them where it's like there's so many characters they can pick from, like so many.
It's how far they're willing to push out, and if they've only sort of got the permissions and the licenses to
Yeah.
use like the Avengers.
Well, they said they've got a 10-year plan for this game. Like, I mean,
Wow.
we've had that before. Destiny
would
had said
be-
they had a 10-year plan. It still ain't finished, but it's one of them where it's like they could, if they'll do like the ones that are known first, I think,
Yeah.
and then eventually maybe they'll just like go a bit more outside the box.
Please, for the love of God, let this game last long enough so they can scrape the barrel of some Zenith
you notice-
Avengers like fucking Reptile.
Did you notice how none of us bought a Vision?
It
No one
would
likes it.
be
He has that,
interesting
give me
to see some kind of like so-called anti-heroes, people
Punisher.
who could be like antagonists to other heroes at times, but also have been good along the way.
Yeah.
You know, people like Venom,
you know who I
and
can
stuff like
really
that.
see them
If they're bringing in
introducing?
Spider-Man, bring in Venom. Venom's good sometimes. You know,
Sometimes.
like I'd like to
See
see.
them introducing.
Why did that sentence have big Morty energy?
It's good
Venom's good
sometimes.
sometimes, you know. Jeez, Rick.
Oh,
Well,
Rick.
uh,
Venom's good sometimes.
the guy who runs Marvel Games, I think his name's Bill Roseman, he came out today saying that all the games are in separate universes at the moment, but they're
Yeah.
all in the same multiverse.
Oh, okay.
So there's potential crossovers that could happen eventually. They said they want to have them as their separate games at the moment so they don't kind of like stifle each other's creativity with stuff, so they're stuck to like,
I
say,
like that, to be
Spider-Man's universe or whatever.
So what
But-
you're saying is bring in Doctor Strange and then just like
Oh, yeah, Doctor
magic
Strange.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
basically what the MCU is about to do with
what
Doctor
would
Strange
be
too.
really cool, they make all these games, and then the last game is the end game where they all just come
The
together out of the multiverse all into the same one. That would be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
I mean, whether they could pull that off is a different thing. But then no one
But
said
you'd have to,
no one said they could
really
pull the
make one
MCU
game
off,
happen.
so and they did. So you know,
We need more animal heroes. I said Hellcow earlier, and I've just remembered that Daredevil was a thing.
Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Jesus Christ, these are like parody
Yeah.
heroes. Frog.
When
We're gonna
you
get the Frog
foiled
Four.
as many Marvel fact files as me and Jake, you get to know these people.
We need Throg. We really need Throg.
That's it.
I
Frog,
agree.
not
We do.
Four. What am I on
I
about?
can see them bringing Black Knight into it because he's coming into Eternals.
Yeah.
He's been a long time Avenger as well.
I can
I'm
see them
excited
bringing
to
a
see
lot
Black
of
Knight.
people that are going to
What
be.
I'm
about-
excited that it's
Stuff.
Kit Harington because I like looking at that dude.
Sam.
What about Moon Knight?
nuts
Moon
matches
Knight.
acting.
I
Fucking
love-
dream.
Yes.
I love Moon Knight. I'm so excited for the Moon Knight show. I doubt they'll bring him into this game though.
Yeah, true.
Do you know
I
who
think
needs to
he's
be in this game?
too. Don't say Deadpool.
I'm not Captain Britain.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would make
I
sense.
love Captain
That would be
Britain.
cool. Name
And
all.
Union
There's loads
Jack
of people. There's loads of people they could just choose from. But it's just like you don't want to get to the point also where like obviously they're going to have the first campaign that's going to be like the main cast, and then
Yeah.
obviously when each story DLC comes in, they're going to have their own little missions, their own little story. But like when I imagine they're going to do another overall campaign later on.
Yeah.
It's
you know
it's
what?
like how are they gonna? I was saying I can't remember who I was saying this to, but like Spider-Man can't be important in any of these because he's not going to be on Xbox, he's not going to be on PC, so he can't be an important character in a lot of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There might be a few like Spider-Man centric campaigns though where
Yeah.
he's like a bigger part of it.
That's what I
Or
reckon there will be,
PlayStation, perhaps.
but it's like he can't be in the main campaigns. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because like
yeah,
obviously
sure,
they're
yeah.
for everybody, unless something happens later down the line where he ends up just being timed exclusive. I don't know, which
Yeah.
could be a thing. I could see that happening. but it makes me think like when they're bringing in these characters, they've got to think about future campaigns, I guess, and how they're all going to be fitting, who's going to be important and who's not. You know what I mean? Like they can't all have the same. They can't all be the main characters of each campaign. Like Kamala's the main character of this one.
I've just thought about something that's a shame that it's not connected to the MCU, because with this like What If series coming out, that then creates like a whole bunch of new people that you could add, like the Captain America.
Captain Peggy Carter.
That's Peggy Carter. That would be amazing. She would be so cool to play.
That would be cool.
And just like stuff like that would be really interesting. But obviously, as that's part of the MCU technically,
well,
it's like removed. And
it's happening in the comics as well.
Yeah, so they could just do any. They could pull any bullshit, and it's comic, and people just say it's a comic storyline.
Yeah,
and it is. So you know,
like you say, they could just multiverse it and add that kind of stuff in. But
and I think that would be really cool.
I think I'd kind of like to see stuff like that. That would be pretty cool. Even if it was like a separate campaign where it was like you go to some alternate universe or something where all the characters are a bit different. Like you could basically use pretty much the same characters but give it to a different hero. Like you could just give Cap's entire moveset to like Peggy Carter's Captain, you know. Yeah. But it would make it like different. And
they could even do like on the store. They could like do skins that change the appearance and the voice.
Yeah.
That's why like I thought maybe like War Machine could have been. With Iron Man,
just
kind
under
of
Iron Man,
I think overall at launch, I just want the main things that I want are a good. I need a good story, and I need a decent length story.
Yeah.
Like as long as the campaign's good, I'm happy. That's the main thing I wanted. Obviously, playing with you guys is fun. I know it's gonna be fun anyway. But like as long as like, I don't want them to just feel like added on missions just for like XP or whatever. I want them to be actually feel like they're important to the story also.
Yeah.
I don't want them to feel just like extra and just like meh, go and play with your friends. That's it. I want them to be just like as important. Well, not as important, but like just. I want them to actually have an impact.
Feel like they're worth playing.
Go beat up baddies and that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like because then that I feel a lot more connected to the game and more like wanting to play it longer.
Yeah, for sure.
You know
I would say though overall we kind of. From what we've seen and what we've played together, we're all kind of under the same impression that it's definitely a fun time with friends.
Yeah.
And there's potential in it that we can see that it's going to be a pretty good game. Like the single player is good, so it's not for everyone. But then again, multiplayer is not for everyone. I personally enjoy both, but it's just a fun time to play with people.
Yeah. 100%. That's the bottom line here, and I think
I've seen a lot of like stuff online that's like. It's very mediocre. Like it's very sort of like it's not bad. It's an okay game, and I agree with that in the sense that I don't think it's groundbreaking. It's nothing new.
It's not going to hit like 9s and 10s.
Yeah,
it's going to be hitting around about the 7.5, maybe an 8 if it's lucky.
We're on the verge of next gen, and obviously a lot of people are coming out and like, oh, we can do this now, we can do that now, and I think that's kind of not helping the situation.
Yeah.
But again, like any game where you play with the right people has the potential to be a good game.
We've played a bunch of shit games together and then we made them fun. So
yeah, exactly. Literally. But I, like the story, I'm not really. I'm more interested in the multiplayer with you guys. The story, I'm not really. Like I'll play it. I'll play it, and I hope I enjoy it, and I hope it's good, and I hope it's more comic book accurate than the MCU. Definitely. Like there was some stuff I was like they were hinting at the MCU, and I was really excited to see. I was like, they put this in this one movie, so that means that this is going to happen, and like it never happens.
Hey, they're like Charlie Day in that movie.
And that's me and Jake. Anytime we go and see an MCU movie, like we have to come out and we have to have like a conference, like so. Like in this 1 second where this one person looked at this obviously means.
Do you know what's cool though? We're going to be doing that again, but with this Avengers universe.
This is what I mean. Like I feel like this has got this has the potential to be more comic book accurate. It doesn't have that Disney brand like hanging over it.
I want it to be more comic book accurate, but I also want it to tell its own story as well. I don't want it to be a hash of comic book stories that we've definitely known before. I don't want it to be exact. You know what I mean? I want some twists and turns that we don't know, and I want because like the MCU is its own story as well, even though it's based off some stories in the comics. Like
very, very loosely based.
exactly. Like I kind of prefer that because I want it to be. I want surprises. I want it to be its own story. I don't want it to copy what the fucking MCU does with its story. I want it to be a different. I don't want it to go towards Thanos. I don't want any of that. We've had it before. I want something new and cool that I'm interested in.
I think what the thing like that's kind of making me a bit about the story is I know I'm going to be forced to play as heroes that I just don't want to play as.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I kind of like how it serves as a
yeah, I was thinking that in my head. I was like, you can say Iron Man, okay? It's okay.
You know what? He's not that bad once you get used to him.
No, like, yeah. I hope
We don't want to get
it's
used
not.
to him.
No, it's not even that. Like, me and Nathan have got a lot of hate for Iron Man, and do you know what? Like, I love Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. It's so he's so perfect, and he does it so well. But what annoyed me was like
Too well.
every movie became an Iron Man movie.
Yeah,
and I didn't like it. I got sick of it.
Agree.
Chris, Spider-Man's basically an Iron Man movie, and he's dead.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Still all about
so
Iron Man.
Not anymore.
So like that kind of like. I was kind of got to the point where I was like, I'm sick of every movie being about Iron Man, and then obviously like Endgame happens, and he's like dying, and I'm in the cinema crying like, I'm so sorry, I feel so bad. But like,
and I was just there like, good.
I feel like with this whole game though, it's like I feel like the main Avengers that we've got now, they're going to be the main characters. I don't think.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'll bring in some later, but like they're going to be what the first
The story
Avengers
is kind of about.
cast in the MCU is for this universe of the game. So whether Iron Man's going to take the main role, I don't know, but I feel like Kamala's taken the main role so far.
It's not even about that. It's like if I have to keep playing those set pieces where he's flying really fast, I physically can't. I mean, how long do you play as him doing that in the story? Like
not that long,
a minute, maybe two. And I was like, oh my god, I feel so sick. Like my eyes were going. I don't cope well with that kind of movement in a game.
I think it'll be just. I don't think the story's going to be that long. I'd say 20 hours at the most. Like the main campaign.
I think that's pushing it. I don't even think it's going to be that long.
That's why I said at the most.
I don't think it will.
That's at the most. I think it's going to be more than 6 hours, 100%.
I reckon about 8.
I could set my prediction's 12.
Also, for me, it'll take about 16 anyway because I spend so long trying
Looking
to get
around.
like all the little bits and bobs.
Yeah,
I mean,
So it'll take 10 times longer for me anyway.
I want 20 hours. I don't think we're going to get it. My prediction is 12 hours. But even that, if it's a good quality 12 hours, I'm fine with that because then I know I've got all this multiplayer content to play that still kind of plays into the story as well. So
but like you say, it depends how you play though because it could be 12 hours, but you could rush it and end up doing it in 8.
Yeah.
To be fair, like say each hero has like 2 missions that are about an hour long. That's already 12 hours.
True. But yeah, overall, I'm hyped for the game. I'm excited to play it, and we haven't really got that long to wait. So, and for the people watching, if you haven't tried it yet, by the time this is up, the beta will be live. So jump in. But it's open. It's open for everyone on PlayStation. It's for pre-order only on Xbox and PC. But then next weekend
everyone can just play it for free.
Everyone can play it.
Have a go.
So. Even if you have to wait till next weekend, just give it a go because it's definitely one of those I'd say.
And then like 2 weekends after that, just the game's out anyway.
Well,
yeah, literally.
But I'd definitely say try the beta if you're on the fence because it's one of those where I was in that in that position. I was on the fence and I didn't know whether I wanted it or not, and played the beta. And now I'm at a decision where I want to play. But we're going to end it there, and like and subscribe if you like what we're doing, and we'll probably have more Avengers content coming up at some point. And
let us know what Avengers content you want to see because I can talk about Avengers for like
this is true.
Same.
This is true.
Me and Jake have our bathrobes on and do like another Dragon Age video.
Got some Marvel nerds right here.
Do the viewers want a 2-hour analysis of like who Hellcow is? Who knows?
We could provide that. I could get my fact files out.
Somebody in the universe wants that. Someone.
Me and Jake are going to live stream us putting away the like huge ass stack of box of all the fact files that I've got that we haven't yet filed from about 10 years ago.
And if you need any Spider-Man knowledge, I'm a big Spider-Man fan, as you can probably tell. But yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
It's okay. I gotta take one for the team because no one else seems to like Spider-Man apparently. Yeah, we'll end it there. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
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 If you like that video and want to see more like it, then click this playlist button here. If you happen to want to subscribe to us and check out all our content, then click this amazing sexy button right here. Look how enticing it is. You know you want to click it. And if you're already subscribed to us, well then you are already an awesome human being.